Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. I'm your host Wally, and today we are on the Texas Hill Country Trail on what I like to call the Bluebonnet Trail, which is just northwest of Austin. There's a collection of towns and activities and parks and places that you can check out. That's all sort of a mini trail inside of a trail for here for Texas. And the first stop you can actually take is in Cedar Park. They have the Hill Country Flyer, which is an old train that they used to have, and now you can take it as a leisurely activity, and it goes up to Burnet, Texas, and you can take it. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I took it during COVID, or a little bit after COVID, which is why I still have that mask. But it was a nice ride. You got to see some of the hill country, you got to see some of the small little towns, and it was enjoyable. And it takes you up to the town square in Burnet, Texas, where you can do some shopping and eating. You can see it's a small little town. It has a town square, and I enjoyed my time here. I enjoyed eating and taking a look at some of the shops and seeing some of the history. Also, I think this is the first place where I decided that, you know what, wearing my pants up high actually feels good. So I'm old and I'm embracing it. Nearby is also Balcones Canyonlands National Wildlife Reserve. This is in two units or three, I forget which ones, but all the units are pretty interesting to look at. They're all different. One has more valleys and hills with some trails, and some of the other places are more going up into the top of the hills, which is just as exciting because you get to be on top of the Texas Hill Country. And look at those views. And the climb isn't that hard or difficult. I was able to do it without dying or killing myself. So definitely go check it out. It's supposed to be a birder's paradise, but I didn't bring my binoculars or anything. But I still enjoyed coming here and enjoying the views and seeing the trails. You can also take the Vanishing River Cruise, which cruises on the Colorado River. You get to see a nice little waterfall as you're um, traveling on the boat. The boat is smooth, easy sailing. It's an excellent adventure to add to your tour if you are in the area. You get to see some of the cliffs and see some of the animals that live there. You get to learn a little bit of history of the area, how the river is important. And like I said, the ship was pretty big, and when I went there, it was around COVID also, so it wasn't too packed. But apparently it gets pretty popular, and this is one of my favorite sites in on the cruise. And of course, you get to see the waterfall going there and coming back. So pretty close by is also Inks Lake State Park. This is a pretty cool park. It's got a lot of hiking trails, and it's got some rocky terrain, and there's some areas that don't really have shade, so definitely bring your water if you're going to be hiking some of these hills. But it also has a river that you can throw yourself into if you get too hot. There's swimming areas, and those swimming areas are pretty interesting and pretty fun. I enjoyed my hikes. I enjoyed going down to the river. I didn't swim this time because I didn't bring my swimming shoes. But it was still pretty fun to come here, and a lot of people love the watering hole right there. And right next to it, pretty much, is Longhorn Caverns State Park, which is the only show cavern that's a state park here in Texas. It's a pretty big cave, and you get to explore several different areas. Some of the rooms are pretty big, like this one, and some of them are pretty small. You walk throughout the whole thing. It's paved, so there's no slipperiness or anything like that. Come here, enjoy the caves, enjoy hearing the guided tour. There's plenty to see and do inside of this cave. It's got a long history, but some of those walls were amazing to look at. I just wanted to stare at them forever. And now we're in Lampasas, Texas, taking a stop at the Hannah Springs Sculpture Park, which is one of my favorite parks in Texas. And it has my favorite basketball court in Texas. They just need to touch it up a little, but it's a pretty cool um, basketball court. And then they have all these art exhibits that are pretty cool to see. Some of them are quirky, like this catfish on a truck, and some of them are arty. But my favorite is this catfish on a truck. I just want to eat catfish nuggets off of that catfish. But some of the exhibits here are made for the weather, so I like them. And just different things you can see. It is located on the former Hannah Springs, and you can see the springs are still existing there, but there used to be a whole hotel industry around it, but not anymore. But the waters still flow, and they smell kind of sulfury. The other spring that is in Lampasas is the Hancock Springs, and you can come check out the pool that they built around it. It's a spring-fed pool. The water is really cold, so definitely prepare for that. They have an old bathhouse that they're renovating, and that's where the spring comes from. The water looks delicious to drink, but it is kind of sulfury. But like I said, it's pretty cold, and it can get packed. Lots of people love swimming here. The water was a lot deeper than I thought for most of the pool, so definitely keep that in mind if you're going to bring kids. It's separated between the shallow end and the deep end, but the shallow end is deeper than usual. And then they got the bathhouse ruins out there that you can check out on the creek that passes right by it. So on the way out of Lampasas, check out the world's biggest spur. It's fun. I like world's biggest things. um, and then in Burnet, you can check out the Fort Croghan Museum. It's a small little museum that has a lot of the exhibits inside of the museum, and then outside it's has a whole bunch of relocated cabins. All these historic cabins have been placed in this area, and you can see all of them in one place, such as this one, which is, I think, one of the last remaining buildings of the actual old fort that used to be here. But then you also get teepees and other things to look at. And head further south, and you'll be in Marble Falls, Texas. There's a visitor center, and that's the Colorado River, and the falls used to be somewhere in there. But once they dammed up the river, it sort of flooded the falls, and now they're not there anymore. But apparently they're okay with it because it used to be pretty bad when it would get flooded. And you learn all of this at the Falls on the Colorado Museum, which is nearby. You get to know who this guy was and how he was important to Marble Falls, and you can go inside and learn a lot about the local history. I love museums that talk about local history. You get to see an old bison skeleton also, which was back from the 1400s. And there's what the falls used to look like. They look pretty, they look amazing, and it's kind of sad that they're not there anymore, but I guess flooding is bad for the economy. And if you're there, take a nice little lunch at the Bluebonnet Cafe, where they're supposed to have some of the world's best pies, and this pie was amazing. I would kill for it. So turn in your list. We also went to Dead Man's Hole, which is a little place just south of Marble Falls, and it's where some Confederate soldiers killed some Union sympathizers, and then they threw them in the hole. The hole is now plugged, but it's still there. Come check it out. Pay your respects. Say, hey, Union sympathizers, I'm on your side. And then one of the last stops should be Cross Springs or Crossy Springs, depending on who you're talking to. This is actually my favorite spring in Texas now. I love coming here. I love seeing the waterfall. It's refreshing. The water's cold. And then they have a pool on the top side, which is fed from the spring water. And it's all pretty cold water. I'm a big wimp when it comes to cold water, so it takes me 45 minutes to actually get into either of these, either the pool or the springs. but it was still kind of nice coming here and enjoying the breeze, seeing the people, enjoying the shade. The water was nice and cold. I like seeing people throw themselves in the water. There's also a little cave that you can go into. But anyways, that's the Texas Bluebonnet Trail, a little mini trail inside of the bigger Texas Hill Country Trail. There's definitely a lot to do, so go check it out. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.